Today is the second full FCC hearing on media consolidation, as Chairman Martin said, and I think it's worth taking just a moment to reflect on why we're here today and what this hearing can teach us and where we're going from here. We're here today, most of all, because Chairman Martin and my colleagues understand that we cannot go down the road of contemplating far-reaching changes in the nation's media environment without first checking with the American people. 3 years ago, the FCC learned that lesson the hard way. Then Chairman Powell decided, under cover of night and over the objections of Commissioner Adelstein and me, to authorize a sea change in the number of media outlets a single corporation could own in a single community. He managed to ram that decision through the FCC on a 3-2 vote, but then the American people, 3 million of them, contacted us, the Congress, and a federal court rose up with one voice to say, no way. So those ill-conceived rules were checked and sent back to the FCC to be reworked. And mark that well, because it shows that concerned citizens can still make a difference in this country. Today's hearing is the full Commission's chance, the chance it didn't take advantage of last time around, to hear from the people who live every day with the effects and consequences of media consolidation, and that's you. So we're here to listen to your history, your experiences, your satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the current media environment here in Tennessee. Justice Holmes tells us that a page of history is worth a volume of logic, and I couldn't agree more. Your experiences and your perspectives are worth several bookshelves of legal submissions from big media's lobbyists. And by the way, if anyone tries to tell you that big media's push for more consolidation has gone away, don't believe it. I've seen their recent pleadings. They're still following that same Pied Piper of consolidation that they followed 3 years ago. They haven't gone away, their lawyers and lobbyists haven't gone away. They have money, they have power. So if we're going to succeed on this and go on from there to build a broader national dialogue on the future of media in our democracy, a discussion that has been too long delayed and too long denied, it'll be because of citizen action from millions of Americans and testimony at hearings like this one. In addition to public testimony later today, we're going to hear from two distinguished panels, the first composed of people from every end of the music business. In Los Angeles just 2 months ago, we learned how changes in broadcast ownership have squeezed independent content producers off of broadcast television. Now we're going to hear what changes in radio ownership have meant for practitioners of Nashville's greatest art form who want to get on the radio, and for listeners who want to hear them. You know what I learned recently? If you want to tune into country music in Los Angeles or New York City, forget it. You can't. There are no full-power country stations in either of those huge markets. What a tragedy. The nation's airwaves are the people's airwaves. Broadcasters are permitted to use the people's airwaves for free, and they make a very good living doing so, but only if they serve the public interest. We must hold them to that bargain. In an era where minority ownership appears to be at shockingly and embarrassingly low levels, while payola allegations continue to raise their ugly head, when infomercials and propaganda are passed off as news, and where license renewal has become a meaningless farce, I believe that the bargain that America made with commercial broadcasting has gotten wildly out of whack. Almost every public interest requirement that broadcasters had to prove they were meeting in order to get their licenses renewed has gone by the boards. You know, I don't think the working press really likes the direction we're taking, not one bit. And I think that given their druthers, our nation's TV and radio news directors and producers and reporters would like to produce high-quality, hard-hitting coverage that serves the public interest and not special interests. How can we help these public-spirited professionals to convince their corporate parents to give them the resources they need? The FCC could help, not just by foregoing destructive new rules, but by proactively working to reinvigorate the public interest. As the Dean of the Columbia School of Journalism pointed out earlier this year, the great network news operations of earlier decades existed in part because the corporate parents knew they had to go to the FCC and justify their relicensing every few years. What I hear now from many members of the working press is that without a meaningful relicensing process at the FCC, there's no way to focus the attention of broadcasting's corporate leadership on the need to comply with meaningful public interest obligations. So we need to restore a sense of balance to the broadcasting bargain. And I say to you, and I say to my colleagues, it should be the top priority of the FCC to put some life back into our public interest oversight responsibilities. Let's act. Let's act like the future of the media depends on it, because it does. To me, these questions about our media are as important as any I know. All the other issues that members of this audience may care about, and they're big issues out there: peace, war, educating your kids, finding health insurance, finding a job. All of those get funneled and filtered through the lens of big media. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. I plan to listen and to learn and then go out and work for a media and environment that works for every single person in this hall, and we should all, every one of us, be activists in that great cause. Thank you.